Hugh Brady, who is with the European Center for Reform. Come on over here, Hugh, if we could have a couple of minutes with you. Sure. First of all, what do you think is the likelihood that perhaps the European Union could come ahead with a bailout or some kind of a rescue for Greece?
I think that it's reasonably likely, but now we're playing a very interesting Mexican standoff between the markets on one side, Greece on the other, and then the member states who don't want to push too far in the direction of moral hazard because they know that the Eurozone is just as likely to collapse if they do that. So it's really a very tense time for the EU. In fact, I don't think people realise that this is a pivotal moment for the future of the EU, both politically and economically.
And what do you think about the fact that there are so many demands for Greece to come forward with more cuts? Do you think Greece can accept that?
Well, I mean, in many countries at the moment we're facing the pressure from public service unions. It's very difficult to know whether or not Greece will have the popular support to implement such austerity cuts. Possibly, in the end, more will be asked from Greece than has ever been asked of any democratic government in this context. But the government does ride high in the polls, notwithstanding its unpopularity with the unions, so it just may be possible.
Okay. And what do you think the political implications would be of a monetary failure?
I think none of us have opened that envelope and taken out the piece of paper inside because we don't want to. It seems to me that the euro has it's too big to fail, as it were, and therefore all sorts of political manoeuvrings will be done. In fact, all of them before they let that eventuality happen.
We heard Jean-Claude Juncker come in today saying that the IMF help from the IMF would be absurd, that's not going to happen. What do you think?
This is a problem for the Europeans because they're caught between a rock and a hard place. They don't want the humiliation of allowing the IMF in, but I suspect, and I don't like saying this, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact you'd be giving the Americans a say over the single currency. And there are those typical continental views of kind of an almost automatic antipathy, especially when Wall Street has been brought into this whole mess now. So there are difficult emotions there working behind the Europeans. For them, the euro is the proudest achievement in European integration in 20 years.
All right. Hugh Brady with the Center for European Reform. Thank you very much.